Emmy knew where Peace was living and took us there first. According to Emmy, her parents were pretty upset that she had gotten pregnant and had to leave school. They had effectively pushed her out to live on her own. So that's where we found her, living here by herself with just her baby, about 4 to 5 miles from where her parents live. We asked Peace to get ready to come with us to visit her parents. When she went out the back door to get ready, I took this picture of the inside of her house. You can see her belongings aren't many, and the conditions are minimal. The yellow jug is her water source. While we were waiting for Peace, I took this picture of her home from the outside. You can see Nick sitting near the doorway of her room, which goes to the rear where there is another door to the outside. The room itself extends from where Nick is sitting to the end of the building on the right. The doorway and the window on the left-hand side of the building is not a part of her home. The boy in the picture is a neighbor from somewhere around the area, across the road I believe. He's not related to Peace, but was just curious about what was going on and all of the activity. With Peace in tow, we drove quite a ways up a rutted dirt road to get to the home of her parents. Here we're walking down a little path from the road toward the home. You can see Peace on the right-hand side carrying her little baby, Bright. Actually, the path itself is not much narrower than the road Nick had to negotiate when we drove to this place, and in just about the same kind of condition. In other words, they're not used to seeing cars on the road or generally in this area. As we entered the compound, we encountered a new home in the initial stages of construction. It doesn't encompass a very large area inside once completed. The details of the house and how they frame it are shown here. Mud and mud bricks are put inside the frame in order to form the outer wall of the house. These sticks provide support for the roof, which is ultimately completed with a grass covering. The outside wall of the house has been covered with a plaster kind of coating that is made from a mixture of sand and cow dung. This protects the mud bricks from erosion. The average lifespan of a home like this is about 5 to 10 years. Emmy greets Peace's mom and hands Bright to her. One of the kids was sent off to fetch Peace's father, who was out working in the field in the back of the picture. In the background are banana trees, and below the banana trees are often planted other things like cassava or beans. To Emmy's left are some corn and potato plants. Nick walks toward the newly constructed home where we were going to gather. This house is not quite completed yet because it doesn't have the outer coating on the wall. Peace's family built this house with a $10 per month family stipend given to them while Peace was going to school at Gabarro High School. A map was put down on the inside of the house where Peace and her parents were going to meet with us. The inside is broken into 2 separate areas by an interior wall. The area we are in is kind of a sitting area where guests are received. And this is pretty much the only part of the house we were ever in. The area to the rear provides sleeping quarters. Some of the details of the construction are evident here. Emmy told us the homes always have the stones at the top of the outer walls to separate the roof structure from the wall itself, because this is the way to keep ants from getting up into the grass on the roof and eating through it. The roof itself is supported by a single interior pole in the center of the house. Peace's father has finally come in from the field, and so now we are ready to give the gifts to Peace. Nick began by coming over and explaining to Peace what we brought for her, including a book bag that was donated by Nike, a ruler of the type that engineers use to measure things and to draw straight lines, and a letter from one of the people at KAI who wanted to reply to the initial letter Peace wrote to us when we started our sponsorship program last January. In this case, the letter comes from Durrett. As Nick was saying all of this, Emmy was translating it into Kinyarwanda, since Peace's parents do not understand English. Emmy asked Peace if she could read out loud, which she was able to do. Her voice was very soft and low in volume, so it was hard to hear her, and she read the English words in a halting way, but she got through most of it on her own. You can see her parents are interested in what's going on, though at this point they don't understand what she is saying because it is all in English. Partway through reading the letter, Emmy came over to help Peace with some of the words. Listen and watch now as Peace nears the conclusion of reading out loud the letter that Durrett sent to her.
Throughout the year,
and wish you nice and good health.
Dari was the hope. So, can I translate it for them?
Yes.
So, please aragize ngiye kubasomera nanjye mbabwira icyo bivuze mu Kinyarwanda. Atangira avuga ati mukundwa Peace Somwiza, urakoze cyane kubwo akandiko keza watwandikiye gahaye njyewe umwaka ushize. Ni byiza kuba twarumvishije ibiguturutseho. Twishimiye yuko ubu wiga mu rukundo rwitwa Dorothy Ostakoff. Akandi kantu nabonyemo ni agake. Yanamwoherereje amafoto ye uwo ari we. Ngira ngo ni umuryango we. Abona ni uyu. Abona ifoto ariho n'umuryango. Aya ni amazu ye mubiri. Iyo ngiyo niho ibyo biro bya. Aba ni uyu wamwandikiye.
Yego bambi.
Noneho n'akandi kandiko. Akangaka karasa n'ibi. Akangaka karasa n'ibi yabyanditse ku mpapuro, nangiza byandika n'imashini. Says thanks.
Outside the house, Wayne gets to hold Bright. Meanwhile, Emmy asked Peace if she would be willing to go back to school and recommit to her studies. She said she absolutely would, and her mom agreed to take care of Bright while Peace was back at school. Then Emmy gathered everyone together and took a group picture standing outside the new home just before leaving to drive Peace back to her home.